before I start this video, I would like to thank Mithril, an amazing Hollow Knight YouTuber, for shouting out my channel in one of his community posts. So, thank you so much, Mithril. Also, Mithril's dog recently got injured, so if you'd like to help him out, check the GoFundMe link in the description. Now, out of the 4 reveals we got in Leth's Riddles, Grindle sounds the most like a character we would have seen in the original Hollow Knight game. And, frankly, this guy looks pretty awesome. And for a lore guy like me, I think this NPC could be incredibly helpful, as his purpose, defined by the riddles, lines up with a lore creator's ideals pretty well. Even with the other 2 amazing NPC reveals, I'm most excited about this guy, as he seems to be able to offer a ton to players. But what exactly does he offer? Leth's description of him was pretty vague, as gossip can be anything from talking about how hot a certain NPC is to an actually useful piece of information that will make your gameplay experience better. Now, the first thing I think he could sell would be gossip, like the description said. This would be pretty much a tidbit of lore about the kingdom, but since it was from the perspective of Grindle, it might not be the most reputable thing ever. Despite this, we'll likely learn quite a lot from this. Since Grindle has been in prison, he has likely seen and heard a lot of things, some of which he probably isn't supposed to know, as maybe some of the objects he has stolen contain a lot of information that Pharloom doesn't want released to the public. This system would work similarly enough to Relic Seeker Lem, as you give him something and you get some lore and backstory on the game in return. But here, instead of handing over historical relics that he then uncovers for more lore, you'll be handing over rosaries, which are the game's currency, and receiving some likely spotty info. But for a lore creator such as myself, this would be very useful, as I could uncover more of the game quickly by just paying for my info. A simple quote would be so much easier to unpack than some Shakespearean poem analysis. We all know how well blackmailing works in real life. I mean, just try it on your coworker. What's the worst that could happen? But what if Grindle, the famous crime dude, had some compromising information on one of the other characters, or some deep information on someone who got kidnapped or something, and because of the information you just received, you could now start a quest? Imagine he tells Hornet about a missing necklace that belongs to some woman in Bone Bottom, and then when you talk to this woman later in the game, you get a brand new quest. That would be amazing. This would be a very versatile quest system, where by hearing a detail and remembering it and exploring the map later and finding this lady, you could do some amazing stuff and interact with the game in a unique way. This would make the world feel very alive. Also, this leads to some pretty cool possibilities as well, where maybe Grindle could offer you his own quest based on some info that he heard about a fancy shiny item far away, because we all know how much he loves shiny things. And maybe Grindle could even offer us a conflicting quest with another character. Given the same necklace quest, maybe he would offer us more money if we instead gave him the shiny necklace. And then, we'd have to make an interesting decision that changes how we play our game. As cool as a quest would be, one thing for sure would be better. In other Metroidvanias, finding an item or talking to an NPC sometimes puts a new room on your map somewhere, and these tend to be secret rooms with something of value in them. And with the amount of crazy breakable walls hidden throughout the world, this would make finding everything and 112% completing the game so much easier. With the amount of info we assume that Grindle has from his long life as a snitchbug who likes thieving, he would sure know a lot of hidden nooks and crannies that possess some nice valuable shinies for Hornet to pick up. And this would be quite helpful, as it took years for members of the Hollow Knight community to find some of the secret rooms in the game, and with some hints about these, finding them would be way easier. In many other games, you can get these secrets on your map, but it doesn't kill the satisfaction at finding it, as all secrets make you feel smart and good at the game. This would also add to the game, as lore creators would be able to access some of the other areas that could be brimming with lore without spending as much time slapping every wall and spending hours researching guides on the internet. Even though Team Cherry doesn't really care what you find in Hollow Knight, many players missed endless hours of content, and with Silksong bound to have even more content, I'm sure that they'll find a way to find secrets, and this would be a cool way for them to do it, and it would work pretty well lore-wise. Do you remember who your favorite character from Hollow Knight is? It's Elderbug, isn't it? He's just an overall cool dude, and anytime you didn't know what to do, he gave you helpful advice that furthered your Hollow Knight experience. Well, maybe Grindle could serve a similar function to what Elderbug did in the original game. After getting an ability and talking to Elderbug, he would give you a hint as to where to go, as well as informing you of all the gossip going in Dirtmouth, because, well, Elderbug is a god. And telling you where to go seems like gossip to me, especially since the location of Grindle is quite early in the game, likely being in the early parts of the Deep Docks, as Hornet gets the throwing pin from the Grindle prison, and she's seen using the throwing pin in the later fight with Lace. This also fits in with how Leth said that some of the gossip he will give you won't be the most reputable info, and if he kinda just said, go to the east where you see some coral, I saw a dude over there, it would be informing you where to go, as well as not being a very good source of information. This Rosary Snatcher will be a pretty great character in Silksong, regardless of what his purpose is, but since we don't get too much info, speculating's fun. Please check out Mithriel's GoFundMe, and please subscribe to me to stay tuned for more amazing Hollow Knight content. And if you're insane, subscribe to my Patreon to get some amazing rewards. Thank you guys all for stopping by today. Ravenbane, have a nice day.